When I was going through my second spiritual awakening, I made notes. I documented. I have thousands and thousands and thousands of words written on my iPhone that I've transferred over the years from one phone to another phone, carrying them around with me. And I went into my notes to see what I have. I have in my notes 7 books. And I said at the start, when I started these tea talks here, that eventually I would stop them and I would do my audiobooks. I have 7 books that I have put together that I've had a hard time publishing. Selfishness on my part, to be honest with you, and also not finding the right editors. It is important to edit your work and to have someone who understands you edit it. But I found editors who did not appreciate the spiritual message, did not appreciate identifying with the Jesus Christ that they are waiting for and looking for, unaware that the discovery is themselves. And so they figured that that kind of infringed on their truth, their narrative in the world. So I had a hard time finding editors to help me edit my books. But I did find a couple that were willing to help me. However, at the time, financially, I didn't want to travel down that road. I had other responsibilities, things going on in my home, things going on in my life that I didn't want to dedicate or, leave myself short, to be honest with you, and put the money towards editing a book. It's a costly adventure, to be honest with you, if done properly. There's plenty of groups out there, Fiverr groups out there that you can submit to people and they'll edit your book for $500. I've done that about 4 or 5 times with people and the results have been horrible, have been absolutely terrible. They do all this sort of highlighting stuff. They don't talk to you. If they do want to talk to you, if you do want to talk to them, they're going to charge you more money. It's going to be every time you go to them to ask them a question, you have to pay. It is a complete ripoff. It is complete nonsense. You're better off saving up your money and going to a professional editor because these people on Fiverr won't even help you. It got to the point where I was so fed up that I said, you know what? I want to have a Zoom meeting with you. I would rather see you face to face, tell you what I want done in my book, listen to you and have you explain what you are going to do to my book. That being said, it's an adventure. As I said, it's an adventure. But I figured, you know what? I have a good microphone here. I have a room in the house, not this room here, that is very soundproof. And I figured that I would just do it myself and make audiobooks. Once I'm through with the Tea Talks, and I'm not there yet because, as I said, I was going through my notes and I found some notes and some stuff that I was writing down while I was going through my change and coming into my second spiritual awakening. And no one in the world could have ever prepared me for a second spiritual awakening. I thought back in 1993, 1994, that was it. That was the spiritual awakening. Having union with God, the Bible revealing itself to me. But no one could have prepared me for the continuous, non-stop revelation and the parts being played to show you that you are this immortal divine being. You are the one that you are looking for. You are the one that you are waiting for. And so I decided this time to document everything. Because as I said in previous videos, in the past, when it first happened to me, I was documenting also. But it got to the point where I couldn't handle the pressure. Everybody wanting me to change. Everyone wanting me to stop talking about this. Everyone thinking because they knew me and the definition that I was of myself in the world, that there is no way in the world that I could be this person that I'm speaking about. You don't ever eliminate the person that you are in the world. You just expand. You grow spiritually and mature spiritually. Some of the sins will, I call them sins, some of your faults, let's put it this way, will always be with you. It's a long, long, long road to recovery, to becoming, and you never will get it in the world. You never will get it in the world. There's things that will never leave you. There's things that you're going to try and change, but it's easier said than done. And you will have fun trying to change. And you will come to a point where the change will be this. you will have mastered over those impulses, over those ideas, over the definition of the person that you are in the world, over those habits and those things that are labeled as sins. And there's really no such thing as a sin in the world. There's sin is nonsense. Sin is a fear factor that is spoken of from the podiums of organized religion. There is no such thing as that in the world, but there are things that you want to change about yourself. They're faults. You've missed the mark here, there, wherever in your life, and you want to correct that about yourself. As I said, it's easier said than done, but there comes a point where you become a master over that. You discover that you are in control, whereas once upon a time, those things in your life, they controlled you. And being in control, you have a say into whether they are acceptable or not acceptable. Go to Romans 14:14. See what it says there. I mean, that's a very profound saying. So you don't sit there and beat yourself up, and don't condemn yourself, and don't judge yourself. Because as I said, there is no such thing as sin in the world. There is only the walk to awakening, and then there is the awakening and the growing and maturing spiritually. But you're still in the world, although you're not of the world. So you still have the challenges and the difficulties of the world. You just now, as you mature and grow spiritually, know that you can control them and that they don't control you. You have a greater say, whereas in the past, they had the greater say. It was all an egoic sense of some kind of responsibility that is nonsense. It is a sleepwalk. It is the amnesia and not remembering who and what you truly are until that moment, that Damascus flash of light moment, and you see everything that you have been looking for, searching for, and expecting in your life is none other than you yourself. In these notes where I was going through yesterday, I noticed I had made a note concerning Matthew chapter 5, the Beatitudes. Now, I'm not going to go into the Beatitudes, but I am going to take a section of that. There is a wonderful person on the internet who goes by the name of Marshall Davis. Marshall Davis is great if you're interested in the spiritual non-dual message of the Bible. If that's where your interest is if that's where your awakening and revelations and experience in the Bible are coming from, Marshall Davis breaks down the Beatitudes from a spiritual perspective that is absolutely incredible. I am not going to break down the Beatitudes for you guys. Like I said, go to Marshall Davis. Just type in Marshall Davis on YouTube. He is an older gentleman, and he has tons of videos out there, and one of them is on the Beatitudes. If you want to hear his breakdown, the spiritual message and the non-dual message, the message of unity in the Beatitudes, I would highly suggest Marshall Davis. But I found in my notes, where I was making notes, that I was curious in the early stages of my second spiritual awakening why Matthew says in, I believe it's verse 14, chapter 5, verse 14, why he says that you are the light of the world. And then I realized, as I'm reading John's gospel, and I'm seeing what John's Jesus Christ is saying, he is saying in a very commanding and powerful way, I am the light of the world. And John's gospel is full of I ams. I am the doorway. I am the light. I am the life and the resurrection. I am the resurrection and the life, I should say. Full of I am sayings. Poetically done to perfection, to be honest with you. It is a very magical and poetic book, John's gospel. And that's the only way I look at these things. You could say, you're showing disrespect to God. God is with you all the time. There is no disrespect in understanding the arts and the poetry. Even Paul tells us if it wasn't for our poets and our songwriters and our artists and whatnot, the message is in there. And even in Psalm 87, the singers and the songwriters, they will be there too. The poets, they will be there too. The writers, they will be there too. So to me, it's just a book. And to others, it's like if you talk about it and treat it as a book, you are disrespecting God. That is the foolishness and that is the nonsense in the world. And I'm not going to get into it here. Now let me tell you what I want to say here. I look at Matthew's Jesus Christ and he says, "You are the light of the world." And he goes on to explain that, and of course you can interpret that light to be anything, a guide, a helper, a healer, a teacher, etc., etc. But there is an experience. And it's funny, I jotted this note down after I had this revelation, this dream. And I'll share the dream with you. In the dream, I found myself walking in what appeared to be like a grayish day. It wasn't fully lit up like a sunny day, and it wasn't completely dark. And I found myself walking. And during this period, when I had this revelation, I remember going to sleep and communing with my heart on my bed. And I was always thinking, like, what am I? What is God? What is spirit? What am I? Am I light? Am I this? Am I that? Am I a spirit, like a ghost? Like what am I truly, if other than just being a physical representation of my spiritual self? What am I? And I must have meditated on this for about a week before I had this revelation, where I was walking down this road that was not brightly lit and not completely dark. It was borderline in between, kind of grayish and bordering on the more lighter side, to be honest with you. There was more of a light than there was of a gray or a darkness in it. But it blended in together so that I didn't see, like I said, a bright sunny day or a completely dark night, as I was walking down this road. And when I was walking down this road, I came to a person at the end of the road, and that person was myself. And that person said, "You are light." And then all of a sudden I saw the representation in my dream of my body as I walked up to this person, and it was me. The person that I was staring at all of a sudden glowed, and I could see the form of the body, the hands, the body, the head, the legs, and it was all lit up in white. It was a bluish white color, actually. There was white in there, but there was like bluish colors. And it reminded me of an X-ray. It was almost like I was seeing inside the body, like an X-ray. And everything inside was light. It was just pure light. And on the outside, there wasn't a body. It wasn't a physical body. It was the form of a body, but it glowed with this bluish white bright light. Like, it was an incredible light. And as I'm staring at myself glowing in this light with just the form of a body kind of encompassing the light, I ended up waking up there. And I remember when I woke up, I came across this verse in Matthew: "You are the light of the world." And I realized I had this experience, and I had the experience of experiencing what I truly am spiritually. That's why there's no description of Jesus Christ. These are spiritual experiences people are having. That is why he is appearing as one person, as another person, as another person. Everyone is waking up to the light that they truly are. And I think that's what Matthew, in a sense, Matthew's Jesus Christ here in this beatitude here in I believe it's verse 14. I don't have my phone here with me to open up and tell you, but I believe it's verse 14. And I believe part of that verse there, other than the obvious and other than the contextual definition or the contextual explanation of what's going on there, the spiritual experience that I had in seeing this got me to thinking. And, I realized, okay, this is Matthew. But then I come across John's Jesus Christ. And John's Jesus Christ is very strong, very definite. very to the point, very in your face. I am the light of the world. End of story. End of story. Now, when I came across this verse today, having written it down and the comparison between the two, nothing has really changed. Really, in your spiritual awakening, you think you're going to forget things and you think they're not going to matter as you mature and as you grow spiritually. The thing is, you are a spiritual entity, and all the spiritual experiences that you have in your life, you will be able to recall them and remember them, and you'll see that nothing has changed in your spiritual growth and evolution of where you were once upon a time as a baby born from above, and now, say 7, 8, 9 years later, still understanding what you understood back then. It is what you are spiritually. So I remember having these notes, and I remember thinking in these notes that Matthew seems to want to be like how we are in the 21st century with our platforms on YouTube and whatnot, and trying to wake people up, telling them the Jesus Christ you are looking for is you. Jesus Christ is in you. God is in you. You are the temple of God, and the Spirit of God dwells in you. And we say it rather boldly nowadays, or many people say it rather boldly. You are God. You are Jesus Christ. You are the Holy Spirit of God. The power of God is what works through you to help you benefit your life, to help another person, to do the things that you were incapable of doing while you were in the world. It's rather bold and in your face with some platforms. And sometimes I myself just openly say that also. But I see with Matthew here, and just thinking about my spiritual experience and just thinking about the spiritual message, you are the light of the world. That is truly what you are. You are all light. You are just the physical representation, having the experience and the amnesia and the sleepwalk in the world of being a light. And that is what spirit is. Spirit is light. It is consciousness. You can't see consciousness, but consciousness is brilliant. You can't see spirit, but spirit is brilliant. And don't fall for the nonsense of ghosts and supernatural nonsense. Those spirits are in the world. Those spirits are part of the amnesia and the sleepwalk and the fear of that amnesia and the sleepwalk. But your essence is all light. You are a brilliant, shining light. And I'm thinking, and I see that Matthew is bringing it across to these people in such a humble way. You are the light of the world. You are what you are looking for. You are that brilliance, that HD, beautiful light. You are this. I see Matthew as pointing people in the direction of where they can find what they are looking for, the Jesus Christ that they are and that they are looking for and waiting for, or trying to understand what Matthew is saying with Matthew's Jesus Christ and trying to make sense of it. And then I see John. John is the person who has really discovered this message, has had this experience, and can no longer be in the crowd being told you are the light of the world, but steps forward from the crowd and now confesses and testifies and is a witness to what happened in Matthew, to himself in Matthew, and that he could say, I am the light of the world. As many people can honestly say that I am the light of the world. I am the doorway. I am the life, the resurrection, and the life. I am. Matthew is taking you on a ride and telling you what you're going to discover. John's Jesus Christ is actually showing you what you are, what you have been looking for, and what you become. Just those two crossed together and looked at that way, I thought today would be a good day to do a video about that. Seeing my notes, seeing the revelation that I had when I wrote these notes, and seeing this verse in Matthew kind of play out in my life through the dream that I had, and experiencing this verse from a level that's really hard to talk about, really hard to explain, really hard to speak about, and then come back into the world and wake up and carry that truth around with you. And this is why I keep saying sometimes that all belief systems in the world have to drop, every single one. You have to become the belief system. When your revelations and your mystical experiences and you experiencing yourself spiritually show you things about yourself, and there is a testimony of them through some of the authors and spiritual guides that have left testimonies of this behind for us to discover, knowing that we're going to have these experiences, you become a belief system unto yourself. You have to carry that truth, because God is very real. God is with you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. God is not real in the sense that he's up in the clouds in the sky and he's governing from up there and he's sending this person up here and that person down there. That God is foolish and nonsense. That God is completely ridiculous. God is with you 24 hours a day. Even though God is asleep, dreaming the life that you are having, God is not really asleep, because sometimes you're unaware in the sleepwalk and the amnesia of saying and doing things and having little spiritual glimpses come into your life before the full-on awakening that prove to you that there is something happening. And it's not happening outside from up in the sky, but you will say, wow, I saw a sign from God. That was from God. That was from God. That's all taking place within you. These are the spiritual glimpses. They're taking place within you. They're preparing you for when you come to that awakening. But God is a very real thing, and God is with you all the time. Even though you are not there with spiritual awakening yet, even though your brother or your sister have come to a spiritual awakening and you haven't come to it yet, you will come to a spiritual awakening. There is no ands, ifs, or buts about it, because everything in this world is spiritual. It's spiritual. It's all imagination. However, we have fallen asleep in the imagination. And now we have to wake up and see that this whole world has been created by thought. It's been created by the imagination. But it hasn't been created properly. It has been created to subdue us and to put us to sleep, while the imagination of building and acquiring and doing and working and labor and blah, blah, blah takes us on a ride that is amnesia, that is a sleepwalk, that is separation from what you truly are. And you come to an awakening and you see this, and you realize also how to use your imagination properly, how to see beyond what the world has prepared for everyone that enters into it, and what lies ahead in the discovery and the awakening of the Jesus Christ that you truly are. Matthew's Jesus Christ is no different than a lot of the spiritual guides on YouTube platforms and on any platform on the internet nowadays, telling you exactly what you are. Paul does it so often in the letters. Do you not realize that Jesus Christ is in you? Foolish Galatians, who has bewitched you? Christ in me, the hope of glory. You are the temple of God, and the Holy Spirit of God dwells in you. These are people who are telling you what you are, awakening to what you are. And then you come to John's Jesus Christ, who is very in your face, very forward, no holds back, because now you have changed. You have heard what Matthew, Paul, Luke, everyone else has to say. You have absorbed the message, had the experience of it, now had your spiritual awakening, and now you are John's Jesus Christ. And you can say, I am the door. I am the light of the world. I am, I am, I am, I am. And you can say it with authority and power. So finding this note that I had made and the experience that went along with the note, I thought it would be interesting to talk about this because, as I said, I'm not going to break down the Beatitudes. If you're looking at it from a contextual perspective and the author's way of sharing with you the blessings and the good things and the world and the faults and the disputes of the world and how to avoid them and overcome them and become a better person, great. And I think there's a person who does what I tried to do here now much greater than I do it. He'll break down all of them for you in a spiritual way, and you'll completely understand what is happening here. And I highly suggest that you go to Marshall Davis's website. I mean, Marshall Davis's YouTube channel, and he's got lots of videos up there. Check out some of the videos and look for the one with the Beatitudes because I think it'll help you understand spiritual awakening. And who knows, you may even have a spiritual awakening through it. But as I said, I think, in this world nowadays, we are all like Matthew's Jesus Christ, having had the experience and come to the point of John's Jesus Christ, where we could say, I am, I am, I am. We are now like Matthew's Jesus Christ, trying to help our brothers and sisters and tell them that they are. But I guess in those days, whenever the Bible was written and the New Testament and all of that, whenever the compilation of the works that we call the Bible, Old and New Testament, was put together, possibly this could have been a spiritual experience that only deserved a verse or two verses and was one of the hidden treasures in discovering what you truly are, that you are light and that you are, in your physical form, the representation of that light that you truly are. Anyways, this is Nick. This is Tea Talk. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you guys next time.